News coming out of Japan this morning shows potentially a sign of the biggest change we have seen in the Pokemon TCG, well, maybe ever. So I'm going to read you this article from Gamer Braves that says Pokemon Japan to require government ID for TCG purchases to combat scalping. Pokemon Japan is set to introduce one of its strictest anti-scalping measures yet, requiring government-issued My Number ID verification for the select Pokemon trading card game purchases in Japan. The system will begin rolling out in August 2026 and will apply to high-demand products sold through the Pokemon Center online lotteries, as well as certain official events and registration systems. The move effectively restricts access to Japanese residents and long-term foreign residents, making a significant tightening of purchasing eligibility for international collectors. Under the new system, customers will be required to verify their identity using Japan's My Number card, a government-issued identification system. Verification will be conducted via smartphone NFC scanning through an improved external service. This process links the user's identity to their Pokemon Player Club account, enabling eligibility checks for purchases and lotteries. The company has stated that it will not directly store personal data, despite requiring government ID verification to access select products. Targeted products and event restrictions. The policy will not apply to all Pokemon products, but rather to select high-demand trading card game releases and official event registrations. This includes lottery-based purchase systems on Pokemon Center Online, which have traditionally been used to manage the oversubscribed product launches. The company has not yet confirmed the full list of affected products, pricing tiers, or whether additional categories beyond TCG items may be eventually included. This is not the first time Japan's Pokemon retail ecosystem has introduced stricter access controls. In earlier releases, the Pokemon Company implemented phone number verification requirements for select Pokemon Center Japan purchases, including high-demand sets such as Heatwave Arena. These measures were designed to reduce bulk buying and resale-driven purchases. Retailers outside official channels have also experimented with unconventional controls. Some stores have introduced purchase tracking through loyalty apps to monitor buying frequency, while others have taken a more unusual approach. In one widely reported case, a Tokyo retailer required customers to pass a Pokemon knowledge quiz before purchasing trading cards. Shoppers were asked to correctly identify Pokemon species, with staff using the test to distinguish genuine fans from scalpers. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are expected to release further details closer to implementation, including the exact rollout timeline, full authentication process, and any additional eligibility rules. For now, the direction of travel is clear. Access to high-demand Pokemon trading card game products in Japan is becoming increasingly regulated, with government ID verification marking a major escalation in the anti-scalping enforcement. So I've got some thoughts on this. I think it's good for Japan and the collectors there in terms of the access to products. I know there's a lot of controversy in the UK specifically about digital ID and things like this, but this looks like it's attached to something that the country already has in Japan. So it's just a way of them being able to regulate that to stop scalping and make sure genuine fans can have it. So whatever your political views on that are, it's potentially not as big a deal in Japan. It just means that fans are going to be able to access things a little bit more. Selfishly, I like Japanese cards. So we are in a question mark of are the sites that we buy from, for example, here in the UK, I know US also have Japan importers. Are they going to have issues with this, or is it going to stay the same? Is the pipeline going to change? My worry is that legitimate sites that get stock directly from Japan might struggle to get it overseas and we don't get our Japanese Pokemon cards. I like their laws that mean that you can't have uncertainties on the hits. You're guaranteed 2 secret rares every box. You could get an SAR, but there's guarantees in Japanese seeding. And the cards usually are a lot better quality. So being a Japanese collector, I'm a bit concerned about this, but it means that one of the biggest arms of the Pokemon Company are cracking down on scalping. So will we see it implemented across the board? It's worth mentioning this paragraph, Pokemon Japan is set to introduce one of the strictest, all that. This says specifically products sold through Pokemon Center online lotteries, as well as certain official events and registration systems. Does registration systems mean when you're registering for distro, you need to do all of that? But I just hope that it doesn't mean that it's going to affect the international genuine distro sellers, which I don't think will happen. I don't think that will go that far this time, but it could go that way, because the thing is, like, what if they decide to crack down and say, well, people can buy like a case of booster boxes from international seller, and we're not allowing that in our country? Why would we allow that at distro here? It could sort of set a domino falling event, but we'll have to see what happens. I think it would be a mess in the UK specifically, because how would you regulate it? I just think you should be able to have like purchase history or something like that, but that annoys new fans, which there's no clean way to do it. I don't know if I'd be fully comfortable with an ID system linked to Pokemon purchases in the UK. We run things a little bit differently here. I don't know how you'd feel where you're based, but I would think that something's got to be done about the scalping here. I mean, they could just start with a lottery system, or the Pokemon Center in the UK recently said that they're going to start emailing people with purchase history, etc., about early access to products. I've not seen it, and I've been buying Pokemon Center ETB since they started. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it translates to other countries with Pokemon, and whether Japan making this step works. This might just be the trial bed, and then the other territories with Pokemon within it might go for it, because let's be honest, scalping is becoming a worldwide problem with Pokemon. It'll be an interesting test bed to see if it actually works, because scalpers are going to try and get their hands on products either way. Whether it's getting people with multiple IDs to then have multiple products, paying them off like you see people in the UK and the US paying people in Costco to take their spot. There's always ways around it for these people, but Pokemon trying to make it more difficult might be a good sign. But yeah, let me know what you think on it. Would you want to see something like this in your territory? Are you worried about Japanese products landing in your hands now if you're a Japanese collector internationally like I am? There's a lot that could come out of this, and I'm going to be watching it very closely. But guys, if you're looking for Pokemon news, updates, set reveals, and unboxings, all that stuff, I'll have it all on my channel. Make sure you drop a subscribe and a like, and I'll see you in the next one.